I'd like to call to order the November 19th, 2019 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order and start with a roll call to my left.
Hodge Patel.
Todd Chernick.
Don Kurtz.
Kim Keller.
For the record, Jason Cole and Brenda Hampstead are absent. We do have quorum, however, with a board of 4 this evening. If you'd all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I make a motion to approve this evening's agenda as published. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approval as published, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passed unanimous. I'd also make a motion to approve the October meeting minutes as published.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the October meeting minutes as published, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That also passed unanimous. Before we jump into primary variances, I'd like to read into the record regarding our board. The Board of Zoning Appeals is a quasi-judicial board comprised of resident volunteers of the City of Milton. The board is charged with hearing requests for variances from the standards of the zoning ordinance and appeals of administrative determination. With regard to decisions on primary variances, the board's basis for decision is provided by these 4 considerations. A, relief if granted would not offend the spirit or intent of the ordinance. And B, there are such extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property that the literal or strict application of the ordinance would create an unnecessary hardship due to size, shape, or topography, or other extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions not caused by the variance applicant. And C, relief if granted would not cause a substantial detriment to the public good and surrounding properties. And D, that the public safety, health, and welfare are secured and that substantial justice is done. With that, I would ask staff to please present V19-009, 175 Gladwin Ridge Drive.
Chairman, V19-009 would ask for a deferral because they're still working to get their septic approved by Fulton County. They did meet with staff, and we are working with them on coming up with a better solution. We just needed to get Fulton County to approve their septic plan, then we would go from that point.
The applicant is here.
Okay.
It may be good just for you to come up, state your name and address for the record, and formally ask, yes, for the record, and then formally ask the board for deferral.
Okay. My name is Brian DeTont, address 851 Lacey Road in Canton, and here representing Farm Sheet Design for this property for Gladwin Ridge. And we're just looking for a deferment for one until the next meeting. We're real close to having everything we need after we got a better understanding what you guys are, what the situation was last time. We got everything submitted to Fulton County. They were hoping to have us back in time for this meeting, but they're running behind. So we're expecting that back hopefully by the end of this week. And we've actually got our floor plan designed. We met with these guys. They were Robert and Cody were super helpful in that. And we've actually been able to shrink it back from what we were originally looking back, getting it farther out of that zone that you guys are looking for. And so we're just waiting on the septic approval back, and then we're ready to bring everything to you so we don't have to do this again.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update. I think we got, are empathetic to dealing with some of the county matters as septic. So understanding the applicant's situation and their desire for a deferral, I'd make a motion to defer V19-009 until the next scheduled BZA meeting.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of deferral, say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion passed unanimous. Thank you. And thank you for continuing to work with the city.
When's the next meeting?
December 17th.
At 6 p.m. I will then move on to the next item on our agenda, which is V19-010, which is 16380 Laconia Lane. Staff, please present.
V19-010, 16380 Laconia Lane. The requested variance is to allow a pool deck, and pool equipment to be located in the front yard. Section 64-1609, subsection B1. The site is a 2.78 acre lot located in the Hampshire subdivision. It is zoned A21 and is located in the rural Milton overlay. The applicant submitted for a pool permit and received comments that the location of the proposed pool cannot be located in the front yard. This phase of the neighborhood was platted in 2008 and a building permit was issued in 2011. Section 64-1609, subsection B1 states that pools shall be located in the side and rears of single-family dwellings. Since the applicant proposes to construct a pool deck, and pool equipment in the front yard, a variance is required. On November 5th, 2019, the Design Review Board offered the following comments. We all agree on the hardship. Let them build the pool. The staff response, the applicant has the location of the pool deck, and pool equipment where they believe is the rear yard of the property. When the single-family house was constructed, the orientation of the house made the front of the house face the HOA maintain access easement per the site plan dated September 30th, 2019 for Atlanta Outdoor Design. That is Exhibit A. The applicant cannot move the pool to the eastern side of the property without disturbing the septic system and taking down trees. The applicant has demonstrated that there are such extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions pertaining to this lot that the literal or strict application of the ordinance would create an unnecessary hardship, since the need for this variance is based on having the proposed pool deck and pool equipment in the front yard and not caused by the applicant. Allowing the location of the pool deck, and pool equipment in the front yard will not cause harm. Public safety, health, and welfare will be secured, and substantial justice will be done for the surrounding properties. Staff recommends approval of this request.
So, Bob, the technical definition of a front yard is understood. In this case, the logical definition of a front yard is how would you explain that to
Okay, so when
clarify?
they created this subdivision, they created a bunch of flag lots, and the flag lots legally front the legal street, the legal right-of-way. However, when they did the Hampshires, the developer, you're allowed up to 3 houses off a driveway, so what they did was they created like a access easement driveway, just a driveway, so it's not designed or built as a legal road, but it looks visually just like the roads. And what they did was they faced all the houses to that road, to that driveway. So when you drive down that driveway, it looks like a regular street frontage with all the houses, front doors facing this drive aisle. Legally, though, the front of the front of the property is on this flag lot, which is facing the street. So there is no rule, there is no zoning rule that says that the house orientation has to be a certain way. So you could actually you can actually face the front of your house to the back if you wanted to. You could orient the house any way you want on the lot, as long as it's within those setbacks. So there's nothing that says that the front of the house has to face the legal street. So it is, in this case, if you were to drive in that subdivision, you would just drive down that road, and it looks like everybody's front yard, and it would be very impractical to actually put the pool in the legal spot
Backyard.
in the backyard,
Right, which
because
is
it's really the front yard. And I think everybody in that subdivision would probably go crazy thinking, "Oh my gosh, we got a pool there." So in this case, staff was supporting it because it's just kind of one of those things where they did what they needed to do to get the legal lot of record, but the way they actually set it up practically is correct. So when he puts the pool where in his front yard, legal front yard, but it's really going to look and feel like it's in his rear yard. But I will let the applicant come up and explain it as well.
Before we do that, I
but
wanted to get one other
same
clarification
thing.
from staff. It's noted on the plan that there's wetlands in the facing Hamiota Ridge. And I have noted from the plans regarding the overflow drain for the pool is to drain towards the backside of the property. Given the wetlands, would there be any consideration to some sort of filtration system for overflow?
Yeah, we would put in like a dry well, like a flow well. And that would be something when they come in for the actual permit that we would pick up and require them to do it. But we can make it also a condition of any proposed approval if
Okay,
the
I'm
board
just trying to get
chooses
these out in front before the applicant comes up.
Okay.
And then it's not noted, and we can perhaps clarify if you don't know with the applicant, where the reserve, I think the septic location that's noted is the primary. Do we know where the reserve septic field is?
Generally, when we receive when we get pool permits, we really don't see, if it's on an existing lot, we just see where the current septic's located at. The reserves, I mean, sometimes they're shown, sometimes they're not. That's more of the Fulton County issue when that comes in. Just looking at it, we can go back and look when the house was constructed at that building permit to locate where that reserve is located. But like I said, that would be a Fulton County health and environmental issue.
Okay, we'll ask the applicant and see if they have any further knowledge there. Those are my questions. Are there any other questions for staff before we invite the applicant up? No. With that, if the applicant would please come forward, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Catherine Bowling, and my address is 16380 Laconia Lane in Milton.
Okay, Catherine, you heard some of the questions I had. Can you start with maybe identifying, well, we understand the logical versus the legal definition of front and backyard.
Right.
Bob, I think, has clarified that for all of us. Do you happen to know the location of your reserve septic field?
I have no idea. I didn't even know we had a reserve. All I knew, the septic is to the, when you're facing my house, is to the left, so that would be to the east of my house. All
Right,
the
which is,
septic I
it's
know of is
notated, it's notated on the drawing. Bob, do you have any guidance for the applicant in terms of pulling a permit and disturbing the land without knowing where the reserve field is?
We're going to have to, when they go to pull the permit, we're going to have to check to make
We'll have to
sure
see that.
where the secondary is. I'd have to pull the original property records to see where it went on Fulton County, how they got it approved.
So as I understand then, our determination of this variance would still have the, if you will, the safeguard through the permitting process to make sure that reserve fields are maintained.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there anything more further you'd want to share regarding your plans?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, to us, it's just very logical. I mean, we can't put a pool in our front yard. Our neighbors would, throw their arms up. But,
Right.
I mean, this to us is the only backyard we have. I mean, our driveway goes to our front yard, which is the plans, or the city says is our backyard. The only thing behind our house, which is our front yard, is, like you said, the wetlands. It's a creek that runs in between our house and the house behind us. There's a creek and woods. So we're just proposing to build the pool within the current fence. We're not moving any fences. So it would be within the current fence between the woods and our house.
Okay. Do you happen to have any letters from your neighbors of them being in support of this? Just a question.
No, I mean, I've talked, but there's only 3 of us on that private drive.
I understand.
And, I mean, I've talked to both of them, and they, I don't know, I don't want to say it, but they just think this is a joke.
Well, separate the front and the rear definition. Are they in support of you building a pool?
Oh,
where
yes,
you've
and
got
the,
it
and the
proposed?
people next door to us are going to be in the same exact situation, and they want to build a pool too. They've gotten 3 quotes, and they're about a year out from starting their pool building process, and so they're going to be in here doing the same thing in a year.
Okay. Any questions?
Have you had any conversations with your homeowner association related to the pool?
Yeah, when they got the letter, they freaked out and called me and said, why are you building, you're not really building a pool in your front yard, right? Because we'd already gotten it approved by the HOA.
Okay.
And we got that approved by the HOA months ago until we hit this roadblock. We had their approval. So when they got the letter, my phone was like, they were like, you're not really building a pool in your front yard. Please tell me you're not building a pool in your front yard. No, we're not building a pool in our front yard. And then I had to go through the whole explanation like I have with my 2 neighbors and everybody that got the letter. Like, what are you thinking? Kind of thing. But that's the only conversation I've had with the HOA. They approved it, but that was like 2 months ago.
Okay. Any other questions?
They're not aware, the HOA is not aware of the front yard, backyard thing. Like, this was a surprise to all of us.
This isn't the first we've seen this, so you're not the only
Really?
one. I think Bob clarified why.
It's like a developer thing, I guess. Maybe, yes, okay.
That's why we have this board,
Right.
is to weigh in on some of the
Yeah, I get
interpretation
it.
of intent.
I get it.
So I do want to point out before we open it for public comment, 2 points I really want to make sure that you understand as a homeowner. There is a permitting process, which you'll continue to work with the city if this is approved.
Right,
And as you heard, the reserve septic location is something that they're going to want to better understand.
right.
And some sort of overflow considerations, given that you have wetlands in your backyard. So it might be something you want to discuss with the city as well as your pool builder.
Okay, how far, like, the wetlands, we need to be how far away from the wetlands for that, or does it make a difference?
I'm not here, I can't answer that question, and I don't have the information to answer that, but staff can answer that, I
I'll
think.
help you later.
Yeah, I'll help you with that.
Okay,
The point is, we just don't want to have open overflow discharge into your backyard. A dry well would be a mechanism to capture the water and then
Okay.
let it seep.
okay, I don't understand any of that.
Right,
I'm
that's
sorry.
what Bob and the staff. are
Okay,
doing.
I'm
Those are
sorry,
2.
my husband understands real estate, and he left me high and dry,
That's fine.
so he's out of town.
So in order of process, unless you have anything else to add, I'm going to open the floor for public comment. And then
Okay.
you'll have a chance to make a closing comment if
Okay.
you need to.
Okay,
Okay? So go ahead
okay,
and
so
have a
sit
seat,
down, okay.
please.
Do you want me to go put
Yes,
this?
I do want to get that up on the screen. These meetings are videoed and broadcast on the internet, so Cody's going to put the site plan up on the screen so we have that in our video record.
Coming up? Oh, good. Here you go. You want a
Okay.
smaller one? Here, here's one. You have it? Okay.
Okay, so Cody, if you could please orient us to what the legally defined front yard is versus what we're logically looking at.
So the legal front yard would be off of Harmonia Ridge, which is right down here. You see the stem of the flag lot. Then you see a 60-foot building setback, the front setback line. And right here would be the rear, so you can see the orientation of the house. It's facing a 50-foot rear setback. So, of course, any average person looking at it would think This is my front yard, but legally, like Bob said, backyard is legally the front yard.
Okay, based on how it's platted there.
Correct.
Okay, thank you for putting that up. Is there anything else that the board would like to call out? Nope. All right. So I'll now move to public comment. We'll have up to 10 minutes per position to speak. If there's anyone here to speak in favor, please come forward. I don't see anyone here interested in speaking in favor. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Nor do I see anyone here to speak in opposition. At this point, you do have an opportunity to make a closing comment if you care, and then we will move into a motion. So it's up to you.
I'm sorry, I'm just not really prepared for a close. I mean, I just feel like that it is what it is, and we just look at that as being our backyard. And I think anybody in the neighborhood, anybody that drives by my house thinks that's my backyard. And we would just like to, our backyard or front yard, whichever, the behind our house, we're just trying to improve that because of the wetland. Well, it is very wet back there. We're just trying to do something. It's not really usable. We've got quite a slope in our backyard. It's not usable. So this was just our idea of making our backyard usable for our kids. And my kids are getting older, and I just want them to come back home when they're in college. So it's just a way of making our backyard usable for us. So we just want to, build the pool. But if it doesn't pass, then we'll come up with Plan B.
Okay,
So
thank you.
thank you.
Are there any last questions to the applicant or to staff before we move to a motion?
I've got a quick question for staff.
Go ahead.
Have you, just for the record, have you guys received any information or feedback from any of the adjacent property owners or anybody else related to this matter?
No.
No, okay.
Okay, I'll note that the public comment is closed, and I'll open the floor for a motion in a second. I'd make a motion to approve V19-010 and just note three considerations. One, it's per the site plan dated September 30th, 2019, prepared for J. Bowling by Atlanta Outdoor Design. The second point is ensuring that the reserve septic location is maintained and noted during the permit process. Third condition is make sure that overflow mitigation is in place to protect the wetlands.
Second?
From a discussion standpoint, I think this case meets all four of our variance considerations, and therefore it's pretty straightforward in satisfying the criteria of intent. And there's certainly some extraordinary circumstances with the property itself. There is no negative impact to the neighbors or to public safety. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving V19-010 with the 3 points noted, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Hans, you did the second, right?
Yes. Okay.
There is no opposition. That motion passed unanimous. Good luck with your project, and please continue to work closely with staff through the permitting. And also make sure your neighbors follow the same process. Yes. Yes. This does. Each case is looked at individually. Thank you. Item number 7 on our agenda is consideration of appeals and secondary variances.
We do not have any.
Item 8 is old business. The only item of old business I had was to ensure that we get our bylaws circulated for electronically to the board. I'm not sure who owns that.
We'll do communication with legal and the city clerk to make that happen.
Okay. I was looking to refer to them for tonight's case, and I didn't know what the exact deferral requirements were. Okay. Is there any other old business? New business is item number 9.
New business, I would like to propose the 2020 schedule. Only reason I'm saying this is because I have people asking me to do the January one, and I need to have a deadline and a set date. So if you just want to take a quick look at it right
You
quick.
want to put it up on the screen?
Sure, I can do that. All right.
You want me to just?
And while Cody's doing that, I'm assuming you were looking to maintain the 6 p.m. meeting time? Cody?
That was another thing I would like to bring up. We can vote on it on this meeting or in the December one, whichever one the board wants to go towards. I just need to know.
The dates are really of most importance right now?
Yes, just that for advertising reasons. I just need to know when I can.
Thank you.
So it looks like you're staying with the third Tuesday of the month.
Correct. And I'm trying to look just briefly, the only one that really would conflict would probably be, I'm just trying to think of major holidays here.
Yeah, I'm looking myself.
And Memorial Day, that would be Labor Day. And there's really no conflict.
This could be the cleanest year we've had.
Mm-hmm. The only one, or it really doesn't mind to you, but the DRB would have to confer spring break. I have to change that date.
Because of our 421 meeting?
No, it's just for the DRB. I have to change that date because of spring break's the first full week.
Got it.
April.
Got it. Any feedback or comments?
Looks
I'm
good.
fine with it.
I think this is, yeah, like I said, I think you're clear of any normal holidays that we've tried to avoid, including Thanksgiving and Christmas. With that, I would like to wait until our next meeting to hear from Jason, who's missed the last 2 meetings, about the 6 o'clock versus 7 o'clock.
Okay. Yep, that's fine.
But I would you want to make a motion?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the calendar for 2020 for the Board of Zoning Appeals as displayed on the screen.
I'll second. Is there any further discussion on that? No. All those in favor of the proposed 2020 meeting schedule for the BZA, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passed unanimous. So let's make sure we have a new business item for next meeting to talk about the 6 p.m. versus another time slot.
But the next one is 6 p.m.
The next one is 6 p.m., yeah.
Todd, are we getting another member?
We're in new business. That's a good topic as well. So Ken Sisson did put forth his resignation. He was just unable to manage his travel schedule to commit to this going forward. That is Mayor Lockwood's appointment to make. He's been made aware as well, so we're hoping for a replacement. In terms of the new city council positions, we may end up with some changes as well. We all serve at our a council person or mayor's pleasure. So I haven't heard any changes at this point.
Right, we'll wait for the January meeting to do the voting and then.
On the
once we
officers.
know- And the officers and
Yeah.
stuff. We were just trying to maintain, because the deadline on this would be 12/4, and people are coming in.
I
saying
think
that
it
they
makes
would like
perfect
to do
sense.
it. So we thought maybe we should jump ahead and just make sure we get the dates right.
I agree. That was good proactiveness on your part. Thank you. Any other new business?
No.
Don, you want to take care of number 10?
Oh, yeah. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
That passed unanimous. We are adjourned.